Captain Thesh sat in the command chair of the Niscari Dawn, staring at the dead control screen. Her claws tapped slowly against the metal armrest. Every sound inside the ship echoed too loudly. The lights flickered. Cold air slipped through broken vents, and outside, space stretched endlessly. The ship had been hit by something unknown. One moment they were flying through Sector 9 on a routine trade route. The next, fire had burst from the engine room. Shields failed, power drained. Communications went dark. They were drifting now alone, broken and far from home. "Captain," said First Officer Mikkel, stepping carefully into the dim light. His antennae twitched with worry. Still no signal from command. No answers from any nearby worlds. "How long until oxygen drops?" Thesh asked without looking up. 18 hours, Mikkel replied. Less if the leak in Corridor 7 gets worse. The crew numbered only 8. 1 was injured. 2 were unconscious. They were trained for many things, but not this kind of silence. Not this kind of helplessness. Thesh took a slow breath. "Send the emergency beacon. Try again." Mikkel nodded. "We already sent it 3 times. Try again." He didn't argue. He walked away, heading toward the manual beacon controls. Hours passed, no response. No ships. No rescue. The crew grew quiet. One started crying softly. Another sat curled up in a storage room, rocking back and forth, and suddenly a light blinked. On the broken console, a signal. Weak, but there. "Captain!" Mikkel shouted from the far end of the bridge. "We have something." A reply. Thesh jumped to her feet. "From who?" I don't know. It's Earth." The word hung heavy in the air. Earth. The human homeworld. A world full of rumors. Some said they were monsters. Others said they were the kindest species in the stars. Some believed they were both. Thesh frowned. "What are they saying?" "It's a greeting." "And coordinates." "They're sending a support ship." "How long?" 15 minutes. "That fast?" she asked, surprised. "They must have already been nearby." "Or they were watching us," Mikkel said, voice low. Thesh didn't answer. She stared. The blinking screen, wondering what kind of humans would arrive. Pirates? Soldiers? Scientists? She had never met one. 12 minutes later, a ship approached. It was smooth, silver, and small, but it glowed with strong energy. Shields were full. Engines were quiet. The name Kindred Sun was printed across the side. "Should we power weapons?" Mikkel asked, fingers twitching. "We don't have weapons left," Thesh replied. "Let's not pretend." The human ship docked with theirs. The airlock hissed. Then it opened. 3 humans stepped through. They weren't wearing armor. They didn't raise weapons. Instead, the first held a metal case. The second carried 2 blankets. The third smiled and said, "We brought coffee." The crew just stared. "We detected your distress call," the smiling human continued. "You're safe now. Our engineers are ready. We'll get your systems working. We also brought snacks." "Hope that's okay," Mikkel whispered. "Are they mocking us?" But Thesh noticed something else. The humans weren't scared. They moved with quiet confidence. They looked around, scanning every detail, like they were studying the ship while helping. Like they already knew how bad things were, and maybe even how they happened. In just 1 hour, human engineers had restored heating and lights. One crew member was moved to the Kindred Sun's medbay. The injured alien, barely conscious, was already breathing easier. And in the middle of all this, Thesh found herself sitting in the command chair, holding a hot drink. It smelled strange, bitter and sweet. She took a small sip and coughed. "What is this?" she asked the nearby. "Human coffee," he smiled. "A little strong, sorry." She looked at him. "Why are you helping us?" His answer came without pause. Because you needed help. She squinted. You don't even know us. He shrugged. That doesn't matter. Thesh studied his face. There was no trick in his eyes. No greed. No anger. Just calm. That scared her more than anything else. Back in the engine room, Mikkel pulled the captain aside. His voice was low. Captain, one of the human engineers gave me a datapad. It shows upgrade plans, not repairs upgrades. New shields. Stronger core. Weapons. Why? Thesh asked, frowning. He said Earth doesn't just fix things, they improve them. He smiled, but I saw something in his eyes. What? He knew this wasn't just a rescue. It's a message. Thesh looked at the repaired systems, the glowing lights, the coffee cup still warm in her hands, and she realized something. Earth wasn't just helping. Earth was preparing them. For something bigger. Asterisk. The airlock door made a quiet click, and every alien on the ship froze. Captain Thesh stared at the closed entrance, heart pounding. Mikkel stood beside her, gripping a metal rod as a weapon, though he knew it was useless. No one breathed as the kindred sun connected fully with the Niscari dawn. Then it opened. Not with noise, not with flashing lights. Just a calm, slow hiss, and 3 humans stepped through. They didn't wear body armor. No helmets. No weapons drawn. But something about them was more dangerous than guns. The one in front was tall, with short hair and eyes sharp like glass. He wore a navy blue jacket with a single patch. Earth Unity Fleet. He didn't speak right away. He looked around, first studying everything. One glance at the power core. One glance at the hull. A slight pause when his gaze passed over the injured alien on a stretcher. His hand twitched, like he wanted to help personally, but he stayed still. Behind him, a second human smiled politely and held up a small box. Diagnostic tools, may we? Thesh nodded slowly. The third human was different. Smaller. She walked, with soft steps and no fear. She placed a sealed bag on the floor inside, or wrapped food packets, hot drinks, and something strange. Colorful square sweets in shiny wrappers. McCall leaned over to whisper, They brought candy? They're watching everything, Thesh muttered. Be alert. Minutes passed. The humans didn't just fix. They scanned. They ran silent diagnostics. They asked questions without sounding like they were asking questions. Where was the damage first noticed? What routes did you pass through? Has anyone strange hailed you recently? It didn't feel like casual talk. It felt like a security briefing. Thesh noticed the lead human never removed his gloves. Even in a heated ship. He spoke like a diplomat, but moved like a soldier. Finally, he said, Captain Thesh, once repairs are complete, we'd like to invite you aboard Kindred Sun for a short rest. Clean quarters, safer air. Our medbay's already helping one of your crew. Thesh narrowed her eyes. Why? He looked her in the eye. Because you were attacked. And Earth doesn't ignore those things. That night, Thesh accepted the offer. Her feet stepped onto the human ship for the first time. She expected cold metal and harsh rules. Instead, the floor was warm. The air smelled faintly of cinnamon. Soft lights glowed above. A screen played something strange. Small animals chasing red dots. Humans laughed as they watched. One alien from her crew even smiled for the first time. But what caught her eye was a wall near the exit. Photos of different aliens, dozens, smiling, holding mugs, shaking human hands. Above the wall were words written in common tongue. You needed help. We showed up. That's the deal. Thesh looked at the human officer beside her. You help. Just like that? He nodded. Yes. Always? He gave a slow smile. Until we don't have to anymore. Later, back in her quarters, Fesh checked the data core. The humans gave her Dot. It wasn't just technical upgrades, Dot. It was a message hidden in code. A list of hostile factions. A route Earth told them to avoid, even though no one ever mentioned it. And at the bottom, we believe you were targeted. This was not a random failure. If you wish to discuss further, Earth Unity awaits. Fesh sat in silence. The humans weren't just rescuing. They were watching. They were preparing. And they had just welcomed her crew into something far larger than she expected. Asterisk, it drifted through the corridors of the Niscari dawn, blending with the soft hum of freshly repaired systems. Lights no longer flickered. Heat flowed evenly. The wounded were healing, but something still felt. Off-Dot Captain Fesh stood in the engine bay, staring at the new panel the humans had installed. It gleamed. Too advanced. Too smooth. Symbols she didn't recognize blinked softly. She reached to touch one button, then pulled her hand back. She hadn't asked for this. Dot. No one had. Behind her, Mikkel approached, holding 2 mugs. They brought more, with cinnamon this time. Fesh didn't smile. They're spoiling us, he sipped carefully. Or softening us, she turned. What do you mean? He lowered his voice. Every upgrade, every gift, comes with a sensor. A relay. We don't know what half of it does. And the crew loves it, Fesh said quietly. Warm food, easy beds. Coffee that tastes like dreams. But we're not home, Mikkel whispered. We're in their net. We just don't feel the pull yet. Later that day, a human engineer named Riley returned with a box. She was cheerful, laughing, her arms covered in grease. Last upgrades going in today. You'll fly smoother than ever. What is it this time? Fesh asked. Riley grinned. A countermeasure suite. Fesh blinked. A what? A full defensive array. Automatic flares, false signatures, and jammers. Oh, and a new AI assistant. We named her Pepper. Pepper? Mikkel asked. She tells jokes, Riley said, as if that explained everything. Fesh stepped forward. Why are you giving us all this? Riley paused. The smile faded just a little. Because someone tried to kill you, she said. And Earth doesn't play nice with assassins. That evening, Pepper activated. A soft female voice filled the ship. Hello, crew of the Niscari Dawn. I'm Pepper, your new assistant. Would you like to hear a joke or review your enemy tracking database? Everyone stared. Pepper continued. Enemy signal detected 3 cycles ago. Would you like me to display the heat signature and probable origin? Mikkel turned pale. She just said enemy signal. The crew gathered at the central console. On screen appeared a brief flash from the past log, just a sliver of data. A cloaked ship, too far to chase, too close to ignore. Pepper's voice turned serious. This signal is consistent with an assassin-class vessel used by the Silent Fringe. The room went silent. Fesh whispered. They were watching us, maybe waiting for us to die. Mikkel nodded. And Earth knew. That's why they came so fast. Hours later, Fesh sat across from Commander Ross the human who had first stepped onto her ship. They sat in a small mess hall aboard the Kindred Sun. He poured them both a drink. Not coffee this time, something clear and cold. She didn't touch it. You put weapons on my ship, she said. Double quotes, yes. You added spy tech, only defensive. You installed an AI without asking. It saved your life. Fesh narrowed her eyes. Why are you really helping us? Ross leaned forward. His voice dropped low. Because this wasn't random. Your ship was chosen. You were meant to vanish. No one would have noticed. Except we noticed. And now? She asked. Now? You're under Earth's protection, he said. Which means if they come back, He tapped the table. "We'll be waiting." Later, alone, Fesh walked the quiet hallway of her ship. Lights glowed gently. Her crew laughed somewhere behind her, but her thoughts were heavy. They were saved. They were upgraded, but they were also changed. And Earth wasn't what she thought it was. They weren't just friendly. They were preparing for War. And now, so was she. Asterisk, it was a small black box, smooth, no markings, no lights. Just still. Captain Fesh stared at it on the table in the Kindred Suns. Command Lounge. Commander Ross had slid it across without a word. Now he just watched her. "What is it?" she asked, not touching it. "A warning," Ross said. "And a favor." The room felt colder. Fesh leaned forward, claws close. "I'm not sure I understand." Ross nodded. "You're not supposed to yet." Behind him, a large screen lit up. It showed map routes, trade lanes, war zones. One glowing red trail, marked where Niscari Dawn had traveled. Then dash zoom in at an empty stretch of space. No colonies. No stations. Ross pointed. "This is where your systems first failed." "Yes," Fesh said. But the scans showed nothing. No contact. No debris. "Exactly," Ross replied. "Because the ones who hit you didn't want you to see." He tapped the black box. "This contains evidence. Heat trails. Ship fragments. Stealth pattern breakdowns. All of it points to the silent fringe." Fesh froze. "But they don't. Attack freighters." "They do now," he said. "And they wanted you gone." Back aboard the Niscari Dawn, the crew was enjoying warm food. Earth had stocked their mess hall with items no alien had names for, things that sizzled, bubbled, or cracked when bitten. There was laughter, joy, but Mikkel watched quietly from a corner. He didn't laugh. Not this time. He saw the change in the crew, how comfort had replaced caution. Then Pepper's voice filled the room. "Captain, incoming communication. Unknown source. Message reads, 'Still alive?' Earth's hand must be long." Silence. Fell like ice. The room darkened. McCall stood. "They're watching us again." Back in her quarters, Fesh opened the black box. A hologram flickered into view. First, a stealth ship decloaking briefly in the data log. Then, intercepted message bursts. "Target confirmed. Disable quietly. No survivors. Earth interference. Likely. Proceed before Unity fleet responds." Thesha's eyes burned. Then came the final clip short, but it made her heart stop. A distorted alien voice said, "Earth makes pets, not allies." She slammed the box shut. Later that night, she met Ross again. "They're mocking us now," she said. Ross nodded. "That's what cowards do when their plan fails." Thesha's voice turned sharp. "Why us?" "Because you were." "Easy," Ross said. "Wrong place, no weapons, no allies. And now?" He leaned in, slow and calm. "Now you have Earth." Just before dawn, Mikkel found a strange crate in the cargo bay. No label. No ID. Inside? New armor. But not just armor Earth-made. Fitted for Niscari biology. Engraved with both flags, and beneath the armor an envelope. Handwritten. "You may not trust us yet, but you don't have to stand alone anymore." -E.U.F. The she called a crew meeting. No coffee. No food. Just truth. "We were targeted," she said. "And Earth didn't just save us. They warned us. Armed us, and asked for nothing in return." Mikkel raised a hand. "So? What now?" She looked around. Her voice was steady. "We don't belong to Earth, but we owe them more than thanks. We owe them courage. So if war comes..." She picked up the armor chest plate and held it high. "We won't just survive. We'll stand beside them." Asterisk. That's what made Fesh uneasy. Everywhere she went aboard the kindred sun, there were grins, waves, and friendly voices. Engineers laughed as they tightened bolts. Medics told jokes as they checked wounds. Even the cooks in the galley offered her second helpings. But now she knew what lay beneath the smiles. War. The shish stood in a dark observation room. On the glass beyond, space stretched out peaceful, silent. But just under the glass surface, a hidden interface flickered with weapons data, torpedo bays, plasma rail arrays, a stealth field strong enough to cloak an entire moon. This wasn't just a rescue ship. It was a wolf in soft fur. A soft voice spoke behind her. "You're awake early, Captain." It was Commander Ross. Fesh didn't turn. "This ship, you built it for peace?" Ross stood beside her, looking into space. "No, we built it for protection." "Then why hide it?" "Because peace is easier to share when you don't walk around with a loaded gun in your hand," he said calmly. "But make no mistake, Captain, we never put the gun down." Back on the Niscari Dawn, Mikkel found a new feature installed in their nav system's Earth's Touch. Again, a hidden drive function. "Captain," he said, entering the bridge, "they gave us a jump shift coil." Fesh blinked. "Those are banned tech." "Earth doesn't care about bans," Mikkel said. "They care about survival." He tapped the controls. The screen zoomed out to show a blinking point in space, a fallback location called Haven Protocol. "Emergency extraction route," Mikkel explained. "If things go wrong, this point is where Earth will meet us. No questions, no delay." Fesh stared at the word Haven on the screen. Even their exit plan came with power. The same day, Fesh was invited to a private event on the Earthship. It was called a memorial toast. She expected speeches. Instead, she was shown a wall rows of holograms showing human ships. Some had medals. Others were marked lost. One was labeled SS Orpheon, destroyed while protecting unknown alien freighter, Cycle 91-7. Ross walked up behind her. "That was the first time we helped someone like you." "What happened?" "We stopped pirates. Took a hit for strangers. Lost 33 crew." "Why would you do that?" He looked at her, no smile this time. "Because even in a galaxy full of liars, cowards, and monsters, we'd rather be the ones who bleed first." Fesh felt a silence grow inside her. The humans didn't wear their anger. They didn't boast about their power. But it was there, burning under every kind gesture. Later that night, Fesh stood in her ready room, holding the engraved armor Earth gave her. She pressed her forehead to the cool metal and whispered, "Why?" "You?" Then she looked out the viewport and whispered the real question. "What is Earth preparing for?" Because deep down, she knew. They hadn't just been saved. They'd been recruited. Asterisk. Not a voice, but a sound wave tearing through the Niscari Dawn's hull sensors. A sudden spike. Unnatural. Deliberate. Pepper, the ship's AI, spoke sharply. "Warning. Hostile signal detected. Frontal approach. Speed. Attack vector." Fesh dropped her mug. It shattered on the floor. "Shields." She shouted. "Already active," Mikkel said, hands moving fast. "It's them. The same ship from the stealth logs. They're back." Outside, a sleek black vessel broke from subspace. No markings. No lights. It moved like a predator. They didn't hail. They didn't warn. They opened fire. The first blast rocked the Niscari Dawn. Panels sparked. Power dimmed. Emergency lights kicked on. Direct hit on dorsal plating. Someone yelled. Evasive maneuvers now. Fesh gritted her teeth. "Pepper, activate Earth's countermeasures." "Confirmed," the AI said. "Deploying flare. Net, masking signature. Charging return strike." The alien crew looked at each other. This was no longer a cargo ship. This was a weapon in disguise. Then, it happened. A second blast came stronger, aimed for their engine core, but it never reached. A flash of light tore through space. A beam of pure energy slammed into the enemy ship, throwing it off course. Who fired? Mikkel shouted. Fesh looked out the window and saw them. 3 human warships dropped out of subspace, like thunderclouds, silent, perfect. Ready and leading them, the kindred sun, now fully armored, its once friendly exterior glowing red with activated weapon ports. Commander. Ross's voice crackled through the cone. We told you they weren't alone. The enemy ship tried to run it didn't get far. A net of plasma lines locked it in place. Earth's ships moved with terrifying precision, fast, silent, no wasted motion. One ship jammed escape. Another disabled engines. The third targeted weapons dotted. Was not a battle it was a warning written in fire. Aboard the Niscari Dawn, no one spoke. They just watched as Earth's fleet surrounded the attacker like sharks around wounded prey. Fesh whispered, Why didn't they just destroy them? Mikkel said, Because they want someone to carry the message back. Later, Ross appeared on the main screen. No smile this time. You've just survived your first strike. You're not prey anymore. You're marked now. But so are they. He paused, eyes dark. Earth doesn't respond with revenge. We respond with remembrance and readiness. Then he leaned forward. But if they ever come again, we won't stop at mercy. When the humans left, they didn't say goodbye. They simply dropped the Jew. Sealed crate in the docking bay. Inside was a beacon compact, black and silent. Just one button on the top instructions read, Push only when you have no other choice. We'll hear it. And when we come, we won't bring coffee. Asterisk, Captain. Fesh stood at the main viewport of the Niscari Dawn, staring at the stars ahead. But this time, she wasn't searching for help. She was watching for someone else who might need it. Behind her, the hum of the upgraded systems was steady and calm. Pepper's voice occasionally chimed in with updates or jokes, most of which the crew still didn't understand, but they smiled anyway. The scars on their ship had healed so had the fear. Mikkel entered, holding a datapad. New routes approved. Earth's influence is spreading fast. Everyone wants their tech now. Not just the tech, Fesh said quietly. They want what it stands for. Mikkel paused. And what's that? She turned slowly. Power. With kindness. Firepower with friendship. Teeth behind the smile. Down in the cargo bay, the sealed black beacon sat in its locked case. Untouched, but not forgotten. Every crew member had looked at it at least once. Some with fear. Others with comfort. It wasn't just a tool. It was a promise. And Earth had kept every promise. Weeks passed. The Niscari Dawn visited neutral stations. Once, a pirate ship approached, then quickly changed course the moment they scanned Earth-made weapons in the hull. Another time, a merchant captain greeted Fesh with a nervous smile. Heard you're under Earth's shadow, he said. That makes you untouchable. Fesh didn't answer. She just walked past him, armor shining, and a warm drink in her hand. It smelled like cinnamon. One night, Fesh found a message in her console inbox. It was short, no sender name, just a symbol. The Earth Unity Fleet. The message read, Still watching, still listening, still ready. She smiled soft, tired, but genuine. In the mess hall, the crew gathered for dinner. They no longer ate alone. They no longer feared silence. And they didn't look like survivors anymore. They looked like something. New. A family. Armed. Alert. And forever changed. As the ship glided through space. Fesh raised her cup in the mess hall. To Earth, she said. Mikkel raised his. To fire and friendship. Another crew member added, To the ones who smile. and still hit harder than anyone else. Everyone laughed, but deep down, they all knew. They had been rescued. They had been rebuilt, and now they would never be alone again. End